Hello and welcome or welcome back. I'm Nicole, a cottage witch, and this is going to be an at present with books, tarot, arts and crafts, a little bit of herbalism type-ish, herbalism adjacent, witchy things. Yeah, just what I've been up to lately, basically. So one of the main decks that I've had out, again, I had it out last time I did one of these videos, I think, is the Tarot Avatar, because it just lives on my desk at the moment. My desk, which doubles as my dining room table and also my work desk for work and my art desk for weekends and evenings. And just anything I need a surface for. There's the one desk and it's multi-purpose. So this has been living out here. And it provides endless ideas and inspiration. I mean, I usually don't run out of ideas. There's always something I want to try. But if I ever need ideas, or what happens more often is if I have too many ideas and can't decide, or just want Tarot Avatar to keep me company, I'll break this one out. I did have to move it away the other day because I didn't want to get paint all over it. So, yeah. That is, I love this. Oops, sorry for the clang. The other decks I've been using are a combination of, so I've got these rune decks. This is one I made a while back to study. So these are the actual, I made myself a set of runes and rocks and then made collages to learn and put the rocks on a collage and took a picture. So that's what that is. And then this is, what is this called? Oh, I can't remember now. But it's a rune oracle deck that pairs plants with each of the runes. So that's fun. So I've been using both of these lately. And I think I actually like the plants, the plant choices. At least the ones that I've worked with so far have been, I think, quite good. So that, and then alongside these I've been using either the Soul Cats Tarot, which I don't use very often, or and I've been using this more in the last couple of weeks, the Witch Sisters. It is very witchy, and this is just what the energy I feel like having around at the moment. Is the not messing around kind. I love this deck so much. Oh, and I got this deck, which has been out for a while, so it's not like a new deck. It's not old, but it's not new. This is the Wise Woman Oracle. She also did another deck called, I don't know. But she has another one, and it was sort of a brown bronzy color, and I quite like this one so far. I do like the color. I've only used this for like a week, so I'm not very familiar with it yet, but so far I'm enjoying this. Yeah. So those are the Tarot and Oracle odds and ends I've been using this week. And then for books, I've got, I listened to a bunch of audiobooks. So I listened to The Cunning Folks Book of Cottage Witchcraft by Danu Forest. Danu Forest? Not sure. Earth Power by Scott Cunningham, which I swore I had, but I can't find it. So I listened to the audiobook. Those are both fun. They're both good. They're not, well, I think Earth Power was more groundbreaking at the time. Now it seems sort of okay because it's been many decades since it was written. I think it's from the 90s or thereabouts. And it is a classic, and it has some good ideas that I jotted down. A Cunning Folks book of cottage witchcraft is also pretty good. It's more for beginners. Well, sometimes it's more for beginners, but then she'll say things about trance work and journeys and poison plants, and I'm like, that's not really beginner, so I don't know. But overall, I kind of liked it. Or was that Celtic hedge witchery? Oh, now I'm getting them mixed up. I should have made better notes. Mundane Magic, I remember, because it's basically an ADHD how to hack your brain by making your life more magical book. Using like energy sensing to clean your living room and that sort of thing. So that was fun. And then I read The New Aradia, a Witch's Handbook to Magical Resistance, and this was really good. Laura Timpus-Zakroff edited. I've read a couple of her books and really liked them, and I got the sigil one, but I haven't read it yet. I do like her sigils in this, though. Like, I don't know, they're really fun. She's got a bunch of them, and these are some of my favorites. Oh yeah, there are a couple spells for water protectors, which I really like, and to bind the companies who harm the water. And Meta has a contract now, I think, to build a data center in Alberta, and they've just polluted the waterway where they last built it in, I want to say Missouri, but I could be mixing up my state. I can't remember. Central American, as in from the center of the United States. Geography is not my strong suit. I apologize. Anyway, wherever they've built one, they've messed up the water supply for everybody. So that's a problem. A couple more sigils. She just does them really beautifully. I really like them. And then there was a couple other, A Ritual for the Land, Medicine for the Soul of the Land and the People. I really liked that one by Christopher Penczak. And then Matt Oren had one that reminded me of a plant community walk I did with a Métis teacher, Nathalie Pepin. She's from the Métis. I don't know if she works for the Métis government or if they hired her to do this community walk. It was through their environmental department. And I did it, was it last summer or the summer before? Now my memory is really failing me. Anyway, it was beautiful and I learned a lot. And one of the things she taught here is that this reminded me of, when he's talking about weeds and sturdy plants and whatever things that are overlooked, are that dandelions and plantain are good examples of how to be a settler in North America in a healthy way, in a positive way, because they don't really grow anywhere native plants grow very easily. They grow like on dirt paths and lawns, and like lawn isn't really supposed to exist. It's not a natural state of affairs. It's fairly recent development as far as human land cultivation goes. It's pretty new, and so they'll grow there. But if you actually go out onto the prairie, like the native prairie grasslands, even ranch lands or areas, even with hay or whatever in it, they don't grow there. They can't outcompete the native plants, and they do a lot of good for the soil as well. They provide nutrients, and they suck up, the dandelion at least, the roots sometimes will suck up toxins in the soil, and it provides benefits to humans as well and animals. So a model of how to be a settler is a dandelion. And so I was reminded of that when I read this book. And then I read Freya, Meeting the Norse Goddess of Magic by Morgan Daimler. I had read her books on Bridget and the Kalia before, but I hadn't read this one. It was good. It was a normal Pagan Portals book. It's not very long, but it's a good overview. So yeah. And then I got the Poison Path Herbal from the library. I'd read this before, so I didn't reread it. I got it just to like review a few things, like some of the plant glyphs that he has in here. I don't know if they're ones he created, or if somebody else made them. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, I got this just for review. Also, I think there's poison hemlock that volunteered on my balcony garden, but I'm waiting for it to grow a bit more to identify it. So that's interesting. henbane. I do love henbane, and I have collected some of it just out and about because it is invasive here. It's an annual, but it reseeds itself every year because it produces so many seeds. Anyway, tangent. So I was reading this book, The Poison Path Oracle, which is his third one, but they don't really have to be read in order. I mean, if you don't know anything about these plants, then I'd probably start with the Poison Path Herbal as an introduction. But after that, I don't think it matters which order you read these in. So I read this one first because Plant Allies for Divination, Spirit Communication, and Trance States is very much my thing. Big fan of that. And then I got this one, Dark Herbalism, Poison Magic, and Baneful Allies. And as you can see, I've done a lot of tabbing, so there'll be a few things I'll try. But I really like these books. He's got an Oracle coming out, I think in the fall, which I'm interested in. But I've pestered the publisher twice now to find out if AI is involved, because it doesn't mention in Illustrator, and I haven't heard back yet. So that remains to be seen, whether I'll get that. Here's hoping. And then I went on a different sort of tangent, and I listened to the audiobook of Cynicism and Magic by Chogyam Trungpa. He was, I think he's passed away now, a Tibetan teacher, a Buddhist teacher. Oh yeah, I forgot. I read Entering Hecate's Garden by Cindy Brannan too. Because it touches on poison plants a fair bit. But I found most of it was just her own personal gnosis, which is fine as long as it's clear, but it wasn't usually clear. And also the odd thing she said was a bit not my cup of tea. Anyway, it's not really my style, that book. I'm not saying it's a bad book, it's just probably not my thing. Anyway, I read some Buddhist books. Cynicism and Magic was one of them. The Joy of Living, Unlocking the Secrets and Science of Happiness was another. I really liked this one. It's very, very good, and I'll reread it for sure. It's a little dusty. Don't mind the dust. I actually listened to the audiobook of this one, so I can take the sticky note out. But I had a copy of it. Anyway, I'll reread it or re-listen to it or whatever at some point, because yeah, it's so good. And then I looked up to see if he'd written anything else, and now I can't remember. Okay, and then I read, no, wait, is it this one that Turning the Mind into an Ally. There was another one I listened to by the same guy who wrote Running with the Mind of Meditation. Was that this guy? Now I'm getting confused. Oh yeah, it is this guy. So he is the son of this guy, this Chogyam Trungpa. This is his son, Sakyong Mipham. And I liked both of their work, with a caveat to come, but Cynicism and Magic I feel like was too advanced for me maybe, or something, or I don't know. I've got to reread it. I feel like there was a lot I didn't understand in that one. And then this one I liked. It was good. I liked his Running with the Mind of Meditation more. That's one of my all-time favorite meditation books. The unfortunate caveat to both of their books is they've both been accused of assault repeatedly by many people. He ran a, what was the institution called in the States? I can't remember. Shambhala Center somewhere in the States. And they were investigating him and found it was the witnesses or the people who'd accused him were credible. And there were many, over many years, some of them minors. And so that's fairly revolting. And then he left and is now teaching it in Nepal and online, I think. So yeah, that takes the sheen off of that quite nicely. And then I'd spent a couple days the last couple of days just pondering how somebody who has spent so much of his life dedicated to helping people deal with suffering in life, and how he caused so much suffering directly, like, boggles the mind a little bit. So that was a downer. And then I read Light on Life by BKS Iyengar. And that was really good. So I pestered Meg last week, Rose Honey Ritual, for books about yoga. And she suggested this guy. So I've got another book by him that just arrived that I haven't started reading yet. But this one I listened to because it was immediately available as an audiobook. So I just listened to it right off the bat. And I really liked it. It's good. Apparently he has light on yoga as well, which I may also read. And then I'm blanking on the name of the one that's the introduction to yoga that I've got. But anyway, he's apparently an incredibly famous yoga teacher. And I wanted to read more about, I've done yoga before over the years, but I've never really read about it. So I thought I might do that. And then I listened to The Yamas and Niyamas, Exploring Yoga's Ethical Practice by Deborah Adele. That was an audiobook as well, and that was incredible. I loved that one. I will definitely reread it. So those were the books of, I don't know, has it been a month? Maybe more than a month. Yeah. Anyway, those are the books. Now on to the art things. Okay, before the art section, I forgot about the herbalism section. And excuse me if I sound funny, I had to put a throat lozenge in because I've had a cold for like 6 weeks now. It might be COVID. It's maddening. And I think I'm mostly fine, except for this throat situation is persistent. So that's exciting. But if I waited for that to clear up to do this, I might be waiting forever. I don't know. Anyway, I did go foraging for some henbane leaves and flowers, so I'll do something with those, which I will probably not talk about on the internet because it doesn't love that sort of thing. I'm trying to root up some rosemary so I can grow some more plants. I don't know that it'll work. I wasn't sure if I was going to make an oxymol or just like, probably I'll make it into an oxymol, or at least I'll make part of this into an oxymol. So I've got some apple cider vinegar with nettle, garlic, and basil that I think is probably ready. But I won't get to it this weekend, so it's going to have to wait till next weekend for me to test that out. And then, oh yeah, I harvested some birch twigs. Because apparently you can make tea out of this, and it's got that sugar in it. So, I don't know. I'll experiment. I've made birch leaf tea before, and it's not my favorite. But I'll try the twigs, because I'm weird like that. And then I've got pine cone syrup. So this is just marinating now. Probably hopefully fermenting. I stir it up every now and again to make sure everything's coated in sugar so it doesn't mold. Pardon me. So it doesn't mold on me, but we'll see how that goes. Then I started a cleansing spray with rosemary, cedar, pine. 1 second. Sorry. Coughing break. Lemon thyme, lemon balm, cinnamon, cloves, rose hips, and elderflower. So it's Florida water adjacent, but Florida water has never been something that I've used, so I made sort of my own version with plants that I'm more familiar with. So that's marinating, and that'll take 2 or 3 more weeks, I think. This is bourbon with yellow sweet clover. Let's actually see what this smells like. Does it smell like vanilla yet? Nope, it does not. I'm not convinced by this. I was watching, who is it? Black Forager. I like her. Talk about making an extract with the yellow sweet clover. Because apparently it's got one of the components that vanilla has, and I'm just not convinced yet. And I'm 99% sure I identified it correctly, so I don't know. Maybe it's just not for me, but we'll see. So those are the herbal adventures I've gone on this week. Okay, now for the art section. So I haven't done a ton. Well, it seemed like not a ton until the last couple of days. I did some plant printing. I've never done this before. Some of them worked better than others. So you can see some of the veins there, and that's where the paint was a bit thicker and then a bit thinner on this side. So these are just 2 sides of the same leaf. So plantain, dandelion, love a dandelion. Look at that, it's so pretty. Anyway, this is fascinating to me. So I've got some linoleum and lino cut supplies. Clearly I made a bit of a mess with the rose leaves. Some of them the sturdier ones were the easiest to use. henbane was not the easiest to use. The oak leaf was pretty easy because it's pretty sturdy. Anyway, I've got the stuff to do lino cut prints, but I've never done it before. So I thought, just to test out the process of printing, so I'm learning like one new thing at a time, or, you know, fewer new things at one time. Oh yes, those are Saskatoons. They always make me think they're trembling aspen leaves, but they're Saskatoons. I decided to do some printing with leaves, and there's the rowan. So I made a bit of a mess, but I learned a lot, and that was fun. And then I did some puttering. I got a couple new to me art supplies, and this was just experimenting with different things that could conceivably, potentially, be used as skin tones that in like marker form or crayon form or whatever. So like paint mixing, I can mix my own, and some of these were gouache. And some of them are better skin tone colors than others. Like that's a bit red, and some of them are a bit yellow. So I was just experimenting. And some of them looked okay until you put it next to other things, and then that started looking a bit purple. So, I mean, it depends what you put next to it, I guess. But that was a fun experiment. Just trying to get to know some of these new materials. Oh yeah, and I had to do a swatch of a couple of things. What's the other thing I did swatches of? Oh, I'll get to that later. Okay. What else did I do? I did, this was the latest doodle that I did just today in my sketchbook when I was trying to get bolder with some of the marks. This was more gouache with skin tones, but also with this neon pink in the background, and then layering up things. I completely destroyed this paper. It is not meant to handle that much water. This was an Emma Carlisle landscapes thing, just doodling and layering things up. And yeah, so that's that. What's in this one? These are the ones I took out, I think. So I did a plant rescue the other day, or last weekend. This was just playing with materials and marks and things, as you do in a sketchbook, so that was handy to have. And then in this sketchbook, I tried to do more of an actual landscape, which I really like. There were a lot of things I liked about this, and I learned a lot of things doing it. So that was fun. I was out on the prairie. Is that the only thing I did in this one? Yes. Those are just backgrounds. Okay. And then I did some stuff just on paper. So, oh yeah, this was the other thing I swatched. I've got enough Posca markers and these FW acrylic inks, the daily running ones, now that I can't keep track in my head of what they all look like. So I would get confused about which brown I wanted to use or whatever. So I've made myself a little swatch sheet, and then I did the same with the Poscas. So yeah, I was looking for, I've got a couple more greens, a couple more blue, gray situations. The sky blue is a bit intense for me, but, and then I was looking for some things that could conceivably be skin tones. The powder pink is okay, the satin pink is a bit much maybe, but oh well. I will play with that a bit. And then I'm part of Orla Stevens' Patreon, and one of her exercises, which I won't go too much in depth about because it's on our Patreon, but it was experiments in how to do render water, which I'm terrible at. And so I didn't entirely follow the rules, which is fine. You don't have to. She's not going to police you or anything. It's to experiment and learn. But this was kind of a swatch sheet for different types of effects that might be read as water, potentially, and just how different things react to each other. So that was actually really fun to do. And then the other prairie things I did. So this I did out on the prairie. And I noticed that the ones I did, this one and the one in my sketchbook, were, I don't know, hazier. Maybe because under direct sunlight, everything seems brighter and clearer. And then when I got it inside, it seemed hazier. I don't know. It's a strange thing though, but I like it. So that was fun. And we were watching a storm threaten that day. And then this I did just from memory, the other day when I couldn't sleep. So bout of insomnia meant I got the markers and pencil crayons out and everything and just did a drawing, and that was a lot of fun. I really liked that. And then this one I just did today. I was trying to get more movement into the hills, the back, and the sky, and I really like it. So yeah, I've been enjoying these quite a lot. I still have to fix this, so I'll leave it out. But yeah, that's what I've been up to lately. Oh, and if you've seen any of the, I did a tarot tag the other day called Tarot Curiosities, and I've made a playlist now on my channel. So if you want to watch anybody's replies, I'll put them all in there, so you can see them all in one place, if that's useful to people. Anyway, that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.